63 years old. I State Farm insurance agent. Been doing that for 20 years, and my location is Chickasha, Oklahoma. I commute back and forth. I have an aging mother that lives in about 2 hours away, and so I live in the community of Enid, and I drive to Chickasha most every day. With the COVID-19, of course, I worked remote, and I do have the capacity to offer what I need to take care of my clients, and I've got a wonderful staff of 3 that really take good care of me. And of course, they live here and they're a little closer, but I enjoy that. As far as hobbies go, we love to go snow skiing. I have a horse. I go horseback riding, and I love to walk and run and do those type of things. And it's nice to get back to that, where I haven't been in quite some time. And my wife's a constant reminder of that. But the other part of it is that she wasn't making me very accountable. And you guys are making me accountable. So because of self-awareness, and I love your morning sayings, because those morning clips, even though they come at midnight, it's okay, because some nights I'm up till midnight. But I find myself not sleeping as much. I'm sleeping less. I have more energy. I don't get to 3:30 in the afternoon and start yawning and want to go to sleep. But anyway, that's kind of me.
Awesome. What were you struggling with before you started our program?
Accountability, getting my butt up, making it happen. You can sit there and play back and forth with the food, but it's kind of like all I saw was weight going up, looking at myself in the mirror, looking awful bad. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm older, and becoming less healthy doesn't equal long life. And I want to be there for my wife. I want to be there for my kids. I want to be there for my grandkids. I don't need to be checking out before I'm supposed to check out. I mean, hey, I got a grandma who lived to be 102 years old. Now, don't know if I'm going to make that, but hey, I'd like to get somewhere close. So, Jack O'Lane is kind of my person I've always looked up to, because I grew up with Jack O'Lane. I mean, he was 97 years old and still exercising a few years before he got in the mental condition where he couldn't do anything. But I think he was in his early 90s, and he's still getting up in the morning doing push-ups and sit-ups. And it's crazy, but hey, it can happen. You don't need knee surgeries. You don't need all these other crazy things and all these parts that go wrong if you do what you're supposed to.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And what were you skeptical of, and what held you back from taking action sooner?
Procrastination and excuses. Pretty good at procrastination and pretty good at excuses. When you live the lifestyle that I've got, that goes 100 miles an hour with all the other stuff and all the other interferences, you sometimes let those interferences be the domination of your day, rather than kind of the obstacle you come up against. And there's a book out there just called Eat the Frog. And sometimes you just got to eat the frog so you can move on. And it's a funny little book, but and so I this experience with you guys reminded me of that book. When I come across an obstacle that typically was an excuse, now that obstacle is a challenge, I want to go over and get through it and get to the next steps. And that's kind of where I have become. So.
Got it. And what finally convinced you to take action and do something?
Look in the mirror, sister. And I got married in December the 31st, and I looked at a picture of me with my new wife, and I look like crap. And it's kind of like, really? I mean, come on. I mean, when your belly hangs out and you got all that lower weight, that's just heart issues waiting to happen. And I just kind of thought, nah, I'm not gonna stroke out or heart attack out of this deal. You're gonna have to carry me out in it. So, but it's just disgust is really what made me just say, hey, enough is enough. And I used to go when you guys were up there in Oklahoma City, and I got into the CrossFit and I did some of that. There was obstacles that came then, and I had to quit. And it broke my heart that I had to quit. And when I started seeing Rob on Facebook again, and then I saw you, and you guys talking. Okay, we're looking at. I mean, if anybody fat, but I don't know where. But anyway, I got to get to that. And so you guys are an example. And what you say and what you do, you show it, you speak it, and I loved your story though when you went on your vacation. I mean, but it's kind of like, but you guys are in that kind of condition that, hey, okay, I can fix this pretty quick. But when you get in the condition like I was, it can't be a pretty quick fix. And what point do you stop? Is it to the point when you have health so bad that you can't? I mean, I've got customers that cannot, I mean, they're so obese and got so many issues, and they're young and they're in a wheelchair. And they couldn't walk if they wanted to because they're just enormous. And I thought all that just reflected in me, kind of like a playback of a video. It's kind of like, wow. I was never that big, but biggest I ever been in my life is 280 pounds. And that's when I started running, and I did things right for 7 or 8 years. Well, I can't there play patty cake with it, and I can't ride the fence. It's kind of like, and you can't cross over the fence and stay over there very long or you're going to be in trouble. And that's where I got in trouble.
That's right. So what were your biggest breakthroughs and specific results that you got from our program?
Well, of course, knowledge, awareness, tracking, accountability, and the coaching, the motivational coaching, the inspiring, and of course the little slap on the hand, like the Chinese food thing, and just kind of like, oops. And so that what raises an awareness that you look at everything that you put in your mouth, and it makes you go. It makes you aware of what you put in your mouth. And it's just not about calorie counting and looking at labels at the store. It's about the product that you're putting in you. And, sometimes, calories a little bit, but I also know that in my CRISPR is now arugula and radishes and lettuce and spinach. And I've kind of cultivated that. I make my own little recipes, but you eat it so much also gives me that. And I'll put anything if it's people say, why do you eat that? That's so gross. Well, sometimes the gross is okay as long as in their eyes, but my eyes is kind of like, it tastes good. You need to try it. Quit saying it's gross. Don't knock it till you try it. So, like my smoothies, I have blueberries, strawberries, sometimes peaches if I've got them, but I put that, a little squeeze of lemon, and maybe sometimes a tablespoon of peanut butter, if not protein powder. And I like vegan proteins. And so, but everybody looks at that and says, ooh, but it's kind of like, well, drink it. It's not that bad. It's actually pretty good. I don't have 7 tablespoons of sugar in it and 5 scoopings of ice cream. It's just all fruit and pretty much the naturalness of fruit that my body can assimilate. I don't have upset stomach. I don't have diarrhea. I have my GI moves like it's a machine. I drink plenty of water. My skin, I don't bloat anymore. And so I don't know, just one of the things. You eat wrong, everything shuts down.
That's right. And did you see any results so far? Like, what are your weight loss results so far? And what about your energy and losing inches? And
Yeah, people have noticed, and I've gone from a real tight 34 pant, almost 35, 36 falls off because I don't have a butt. But the thing is, to wearing my 32s again,
Wow.
and then of course, I've when I get to 200, I'll probably be able to wear my 30s again. But I people have noticed that I'm reducing the number of chins that I have. Uh, but uh, if you really look at where I was headed, whenever with you guys, I've gone 234, 235 down to 222, and I looked a couple months before that. When I got married, I was 251, and that was December 31st. So, I but what I was doing on my own was spotty. I'd sit here and lose 2 or 3 pounds here, and I would literally have to go 2 or 3 days and fast and not eat anything, and then gain it back, and then back and forth, back and forth. And so it was more than intermittent fasting. It was just not eating, and that's not healthy. And I was weak and tired, and like I said, I wanted to sleep at 3:30. But you guys, my energy levels there, instead of dragging out of bed, and I'm not kidding you, I was literally moaning and groaning, sitting up in bed. And when I'd put my shorts on or my underwear on in the morning, I had to hold myself onto a dresser to steady myself while I put my fat butt in the other leg. Now I just stand there and zip them on. I can jump in them. I can't jump in them with both feet, but I can do that. I don't have to hold on to anything. I have better balance. And when I get out of bed in the morning, I just kind of hop out of bed. And I have so much energy, and I'm not kidding you. I feel like the Energizer Bunny compared to where I was. And, like right now, I feel like I could, even though I've got work to do, I feel like I could go out there and run down the street. And I've been finding myself, when I get home at 6:30, I go out, see my horse, and we're on 2 acres, so he's at the back end of the property. And I go out there to his stall and his big old pen he's got out there, and I run to go to the barn. And I like that because I feel good. I don't even know how to describe it. It's vibrant.
That is so wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So who would you recommend this program for?
Anybody, because it's anybody that it doesn't matter. Anybody, simply because of where people need to be. People need to be challenged. We have so many things going on in our world today that we let that stress build up. And I have stress in my job, and I always have. But when you don't have a way to vent it, and if nobody's listening, what's your body doing? And with your program, you're able to vent that stress out through exercise, the challenges of eating, the challenges that you put before us, the inspiration that you do. It's just kind of like, you ever been up in the mountains and you've been down here in Oklahoma smelling the good old red dusty, and you get off the airplane and you step off the airplane in Seattle or in Denver, and you walk out into the air and you take a deep breath. It's so refreshing. It seems like you can breathe deeper, and it's like you're grabbing on it. That's what your program is like. So people need to get involved in your program.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And what would you say to someone who signed up and maybe they're a little bit scared about starting?
Well, we all have everything to be scared of, but get on your big girl panties and make it happen. It's just go for it.
Awesome.
And really, sometimes people always are hesitant about, this costs this much money, and everything's all wonderful till the price tag comes. But are you going to the grocery store and getting everything on the counter at the grocery store that's generic? Are you going to the car dealership and you want to drive a Cadillac, but you settle for a three-wheel tricycle? No. And that's because we want those things. You should want that for your body. You should want those things for your body. And the investment that you make, you got two ways to invest. Either invest in the good way or invest in the bad way. And you always get a return on your investment. And your life is probably the best investment. And people don't think about that often enough, about the investment that they have in their own selves. They do think about their car, they do think about their house. But when it comes to them, I'm a low priority. And you need to make the investment, because that's what it is. It's an investment in your life. You want to live longer or you want to die sooner. Simple as that.
Thank you so much for sharing that. You said a lot of powerful things, and I'm really excited to really share your story to other people, because you have made such amazing progress walking 7 miles well, you could walk every single day. I mean, usually you're walking about 2 to 7 miles a day.
Yes.
Yeah. Down 12 pounds, keeping it off, eating healthy and looking great. And your hairstylist even said she saw some abs.
I know. It's kind of like, wow, kind of like, what the world there?